Hey there, I'm John, the Unhoused Wanderer. Today's video is going to be about some urban foraging plants that I seem to find all over Milwaukee. You could probably find them in your city too if you have greenways or whatever. But keep in mind, I am still a beginner. You're learning along with me here. But anyway, please like and subscribe. And leave a comment down below if you have anything to add or anything you'd like to see me cover in the future. This right here is wild ginger. They have very thick leaves. They grow in these dense patches. These leaves curl back in on themselves to create this little heart shape, kind of. And let's see if... it might be too late in the season for it. I'm not seeing any flowers. Yeah, I'm not seeing the flowers. Flowers are hidden. Little bell-shaped purple things. The little seeds inside the flower are covered in sugar, so that insects, ants and such, will carry them away, discard the seed, and eat the sugar, helping to propagate the plant. They will also grow by rhizome. I had one growing for a little bit in a pot at home, but then I left. Okay, right here, let's see if I can focus on it. You have a bit of hedge parsley. Let's focus on these leaves right here, part of the Apiaceae family. It's got these compound leaves here. And this, I've discovered, is almost identical to poison hemlock, except for the fact that this here, you won't see any purple splotches on the stem. It'll just be green. Occasionally you will find it with a purple streaked stem, but not the splotches. And that's how you know that you have something edible in the Apiaceae family and not poisonous. At one point there was a bunch of hedge parsley in here. Let's see if there's any more. There was some massive flooding a few weeks back, and oh hey, look. We have something here. This is cow parsley. You can generally tell the difference between this and what's it called, poison hemlock, in the same way. There will be no purple splotching on the stems. It will instead be more like purple streaking. It'll have a pleasant scent instead of a chemical one. But hold on, something I saw before, but not very good samples. Here, you can see a little yellow flower starting right here, but this is wood sorrel. It contains oxalates, which give it its citrusy flavor. However, those can cause kidney stones, so it should be eaten sparingly. Here we go. This is a good example. The purple stem, you don't see any splotching, and when you look at the petioles, if I can focus on this. No, I cannot. The petioles will actually be a U shape on the cow parsley. However, it will be round on the poison hemlock. Right here is some comfrey, which, to be honest, I didn't expect to find blooming and looking so beautiful at this moment. You can tell comfrey by the alternately arranged leaves. They are generally pretty rough. They have hairs all over them. They are not stinging, however. And these beautiful purple flowers will always grow in clumps. I've seen them as many as a dozen, I think, and they will always face downward. Here we have a little larger patch of comfrey. As you can see, some of these flowers are long dead. I kind of thought they would all look like this at this point. Oh, here, while we're at it, here is some burdock. These little flowers are starting to turn purple right at the tips, as you can see. If I find some bigger buds, I'll show you. Here we go. These are the purple flowers from burdock I was talking about. Pokey, yet beautiful. Here we have common agrimony. Very distinct leaf pattern. Let's look at this. You can see a clasping leaf right down here, followed by smaller leaves, bigger, smaller, bigger, smaller, and then it eventually grows on these nice tall stalks with, let's see if we can look at that, little 5-petaled yellow flowers. Here we have some thistle, which we've all seen it. It is very spiky, grows in small basal rosettes the first year, which you often stepped on as a kid. As you see, this one is several feet tall. It's a hell of a thing to try to harvest, but every bit of this thistle is edible. Here is a much more imposing specimen of thistle. Let's see if I can get it up there so you can see. I can't see what I'm doing. These flowers, they grow much like burdock flowers, purple and spiky things. Get stuck on you. Alright, here's a very small one, but you can see the thistle grows a very pretty spiky looking little flower. Why can't I? You don't really want to touch anything below that flower, it'll hurt. I believe this to be dogbane. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but these are actually some very beautiful flowers if they would just stop blowing in the wind. Well, it's not a very good sample, but this here, also in the Apiaceae family, this is anise root. You can tell by these purple stems, and particularly when you break it and smell it, chew it even, it'll taste just like black licorice. It'll grow, I believe, little umbrils of white flowers, 5 petals. Generally in the late spring to early summer is when it flowers. However, the plant does stay green all year long, and you can even forage it in winter. The tastiest part of the plant, of course, is the root. This here is another edible flower, wild fleabane. It's been said that the leaves, tiny as they are, actually taste like spinach, another plant I have not yet tried. However, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I may be wrong on this identification, I'll let you know, but I believe this to be the woodland sunflower. There's a little lightning bug on this one. All parts, from the flowers to the leaves to the seeds to the roots of this plant, are edible. I myself have never eaten it, but I feel like I might try one day. We have self-heal. Now, I've used this to make teas. Supposed to be good for just about everything. I don't know, I'm not a apothecary, but you can tell it grows these very tiny, here, look at my hand next to them, very tiny purple flowers from this bulb at the top. Long, thin, hairy leaves growing oppositely, and a very sturdy stalk. These specimens seem about on their way out, but you can tell from these giant, my hand compared to it, giant, almost maple-like leaves. These massive stalks, sometimes streaked a little red or purple, striated, alternately arranged leaves, an Apiaceae plant with flowering umbels. They turn white, as you can see, this is past its prime. This is cow parsnip. The entire plant, from what I heard, is edible. I've only ever tried the roots and the flower buds, which flower buds are kind of like spicy broccoli, if that sounds good to you. Okay, here we have more cow parsley. You can see it gets tall. This one is, I mean, maybe 3 feet above me on a hill. However, this is still an easily 8-foot tall plant. Something I should have mentioned before, these contain a phototoxic chemical in the sap, which on a bright sunny day, not so much today, it can actually cause sunburn in just mere minutes. Oof. Well, this right here is young purple stem angelica. This is another flowering plant in the Apiaceae family. You can generally tell purple stem angelica by these, well, purple stems. And let's see if I can find a nice example. These leaves, the veins will often come to the tips. Now, one thing you'll see, this is pretty close in identification to water hemlock, the most poisonous plant in North America. Had I not already identified these months ago, I would not be touching this. Ooh, this little sprout is probably delicious. However, this plant too has a phototoxic chemical that, when in contact with your skin, can lead to horrific sunburn. However, the entire plant is edible, to my knowledge, and the roots are the real treat. However, the young stalks can be, the outer layer can be torn off and they can be eaten, much like celery, which celery too is in the Apiaceae family.